Okay, we are going to be talking about how to make our puzzle cube 3D model on Fusion 360. So this is my coloring sheet, so this will be my puzzle cube, and I have labeled each side, and the ones that are in white text are the sides that we can see. They're the sides that are visible to us on our paper right now. So we can see the front side. We can see the right side, that's these three ends, and then we can see the top, which is these three tops. We can't see the back, we can't see the bottom, and we can't see the left side. But they're still there. Just because we can't see them doesn't mean that they are not there. So we do have to just remind ourselves of that and keep that in mind as we are drawing on Fusion. So I am going to open up Fusion. I have it already opened down here. And a few things I want to make sure that I have set up before I start working on anything. This is super important. Nothing will go right, especially if you don't have the right units. Units of measurement are a big deal. So this is millimeters. Our cubes are in inches. So you want to change this to inches. So what I did was I clicked this little arrow beside document settings, and then it gave me a drop down. It says units millimeters. If I hover over that, a notepad with a pencil pops up, and I want to click that. And then I get a little menu over here. I want to click the drop down arrow here, change this to inches, and I want to set this as my default so I don't have to change this every time I open up Fusion. Then I'm going to click OK. So now my 3D modeling space is set to inches and I'm good to go. Another thing that is pretty important to know how to work and use is this cube up here. So this cube helps us do a lot of different things. It helps us view different ways. It helps us to find a home position. And with the puzzle cube, it helps give us the right direction. So right here it says front, right, top. So just like on our coloring sheet, we can only see the front, the top, and the right. It's the same way right now. And so this is the home position. So if I were to click this, this is the view that it gives me, these three sides. So right now, our puzzle cube and our Fusion are in the same view. So they're in the same direction. And that's really important to know because you should be creating these puzzle pieces in the orientation that you've colored them in. Because if you create them differently, say I put these two red pieces on this side instead of the back side, then that piece is going to be different and it won't fit into my puzzle cube. So it's important to recognize the different sides and views and how you're looking at your puzzle cube. So I'm going to go back to Fusion and so there are three tools we're going to use on this specific screen. And take note that these are blue. We don't want anything that is orange or yellow or any of this. Okay, so make sure we're not under surface, mesh, sheet metal, plastics. You don't want to be on any of those. Solids is where we want. We are working with solids. So underneath solids, the tools that we'll use are Create Sketch, and that's this one. If you hover over it, it tells you what it does. Extrude, again, if I hover over it, it tells me the name and what it does. So this makes something 3D. And then the Move/Copy tool, and this will be used once a puzzle piece is completed. You're going to move it out of the way to make your next puzzle piece. So I'm going to create a sketch, and then these four orange squares pop up. Yours may look backwards to mine, so it might be flipped around, and that is okay. They still represent the same thing. So this represents the front and the back. This represents the left and the right. And then this represents the top and the bottom. So if you ever forget what these represent, just look up here, reference your view cube. I am going to start with my red piece. So my red piece, it's in two different slices. So, and it's not all the same shape. So what this means is I'm going to have to do this in multiple steps. So my first step, what I like to do is identify which side has the most of that color. So I have red here on the front, I have red here on the top, I have red here on the right, and then I also have red here on this surface as well. To me, where I see the most red is either on the front side or the right side. But what I can recognize is if I draw on the right side, so I draw this cube, this one, and this side of this red cube, I'm going to have to create another sketch on the back side and create those two, which can kind of get confusing. So I want to think about this and break it down as simply as possible. So I want to do this red L shape here, and then I'll come back to these two L's here. So I need 2 across and 3 up. And each of these cubes is 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. So when I'm drawing this, I can go 1 inch by 2 inches and then create this rectangle. And then on top of this, I can create a 1 inch by 2 inch rectangle. So you can do this in pieces and parts. So I want to sketch on my front. Another tip or trick is if you're having trouble figuring out which one to click, you can just click on the front. I want to sketch on the front, and then it shows you automatically which orange square you should select. So it's this one. Now I'm in a 2D mode, I'm sketching. And to move your screen around, you're going to click the roller on your mouse, and then you can drag the screen around. And if you roll the roller on your mouse, it zooms in and out on your screen. This is our origin. I like to start all my pieces on my origin. You do not have to. I just feel like it helps me organize things in my brain. So that's what works for me. If it does not matter, if you want to start something up here, you can start something up there. It will not affect how your drawing comes out. On the sketch tools or the sketch ribbon. So this is the ribbon and these are the tools. There's really only one tool that we're going to be using for this project, and that is the rectangle tool. So if this ever happens, you click this, you drag it over here, and it disappears from your ribbon. This happens a lot to people. There's an easy fix. So what you do to fix this is right click, reset panel customization, and then that comes back. So again, I'm only going to be using this rectangle tool. I'm starting at the origin, and then I'm going to go up, and I'm going to type in 1, and then to get to my other dimension box, I'm going to hit tab and type in 2. And I'm going to hit enter. So now I have this cube and this cube. I now need to attach these two. So I have this cube and this cube because I did a 1 by 2 and it's standing up. So my next one I'm going to do underneath of this. And it is going to be 2 inches in this direction and then 1 inch in the other direction. And that creates my L shape. And just to make this a little bit more clear on exactly where I'm getting this from, I am going to add some lines. You do not have to worry about the line tool, but this is just to show you exactly kind of where my thought process is on these different pieces as I'm getting them from my coloring sheet. So here we have this cube, this cube, this cube, this cube that make my L shape. And on Fusion, we have this cube, this cube, this cube, and this cube that makes my L shape. So once you have all the pieces that you can make on that front side, so I don't see any more red pieces on this front piece, so I would be done with that part of this piece. So now I can't add anything else from this view. I want to finish sketch. So I'm going to click this green check mark up here that says finish sketch. And it takes me back into my solid 3D mode. And I like to put this in the home position just so that I can view it in 3D. And then I use my other tool, the extrude tool, and I click each square and it highlights it a darker blue and an arrow shows up. Because our cubes are 1 by 1 by 1, I'm going to extrude this 1 inch. So 1 inch. And then if you would like to change the colors later, it is really helpful to change this operation to new component. It's not necessary though. And then I'm going to click OK or hit enter. Now, if I spin my view cube around, I can see that I have that L shape, and it is, so this would be the front, and that is the same that I have on my red on my coloring sheet. So now I have to add these 2 back pieces, and I have to think, are these 2 back pieces attached on the front or the back of this piece? So which side do these 2 pieces attach to these 4 pieces that I already drew? And I can see that it attaches on the back side of this piece. So in Fusion, I want to be looking at the back side. So I click this corner back here. And now it says back. So I want to create a sketch on this back side right here. This surface, I'm not sketching on the orange planes, I'm sketching on the surface because I want it to be one conjoined piece. So create sketch. I want to sketch on that surface, so it's one conjoined piece. And then I need 2 squares, one going here and one going here. And I know that from my drawing. So I have one in the middle of the 3. So one in the middle of the 3. And then I have one in that empty spot right here. So one in the empty spot right here. So back to Fusion, rectangle tool. And I do like to start from an exact point. So this right here, yes, it looks right, but it could be wrong. Whereas this corner, I know exactly that they need to meet up at that corner, so I know that this is exactly the right place to start something. So I can click here and then type in my dimensions, and I want 2, tab, 1, and then I'm going to click enter. And I can see that my square popped up. It's the right dimensions. I'm going to check my drawing. Do I need to add anything else? Nope, I'm good. So I'm going to finish sketch with that green arrow or green check mark. I'm still looking at the backside, and I'm going to use my extrude tool. And I'm going to click on the squares that I want to come back. So I want this square and this square to come backwards and extrude out. I do not want to extrude anything from here or down here. So this one and this one, this is all based on my drawing. And I want it to extrude backwards 1 inch, because again, our cubes are 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. This operation should say join if you're working on the same colored piece. So right now I'm working on all the red pieces. So I want to make sure that it all connects. If this was a different color, I would not want this to connect. But because it's both red, I want this to join. And I'm going to click OK. So now these 2 pieces act as one. And now we're done with the red piece. So we have the L and then we have the 2 on the back, and that's exactly what we have. If we look at the home button, we have the L and then there's 2 on the back. If we rotate this a little bit, we can definitely see that and see our puzzle piece coming to life. If you do want to color this, you can go underneath Utilities and click this Display Component Colors, and then if you did things right, which it looks like I have a mistake here, it should make puzzle pieces the same color. So it looks like this piece here didn't quite join to this piece. If you didn't hit components, but you do end up wanting to change the color, underneath bodies, click that drop down arrow underneath bodies, right click on body 1, create components from body, and then it creates a component. I'm not entirely sure, haven't figured out how to get these 2 combined to the same component. So I am just going to click this to undo that so it is all the same color. And I know that it is. It is not required that you color the pieces. As long as you have all the pieces spread out onto your thing, that is what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for it to be a 3 by 3 cube, and I'm not asking for colors. So once you are done with your piece, the last tool we are going to use is the Move and Copy tool. So it's this tool right here, and you're going to select your piece. So I like to click down here and then drag up over it. Drag up over it, and then it should turn that dark blue color, and you can grab this dot. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Grab the dot in the middle, and then it'll let you free move it somewhere else. And the reason I do this is so that my origin is open in order to create my next piece. So if I were to start on a new piece, so let's do, if I were to do my blue piece back here, so these two, this one, and these two, and then this one. And I know that that's my left side I see the most on. So if I wanted to create a new sketch, it allows for this to be open. So again, you can either click right here if you know which plane you need to sketch on, or you can go up to your view cube and change which side you're looking at, click the exact one you need, which would be left for me for this piece, and then continue on your sketch. I am not going to go through and make all of my puzzle pieces. Just feel like that would be a waste of your time. But I would just continue working on each puzzle piece the same way. So with the blue one, I looked at and decided which side I saw the most blue on, and then that's the side I decided to sketch from. And then I'd make that sketch, I'd extrude it, make it 3D, and then I would add this back piece on, whatever piece wasn't on my sketch included. I want to check off all of those blue squares that they're done, and then I would move it away from my origin and start on my next piece. Again, the same way, identify which side has the most colors on it of that color, create a sketch, and then from that sketch, extrude, and then identify what other pieces need to be created.